As Jesus was still walking on his way home to Capernaum, he had such a mob, such a crowd around him. And he had even gotten this note from the Roman centurion, and besides healing people in the crowd, he healed the Roman centurion's servant. And he's had quite a day, but he was walking toward home. And the people kept coming. And it appears like maybe it was late afternoon. And anyway, he went in his house. And it's just overwhelming. And the people even crowded into the house where he was staying, it says. And the people crowded into there. And there was no room to get by, just, oh, sorry, I stepped on your foot. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Oh, who are you? I mean, everybody's just nose to nose and toe to toe. And very crowded. And poor Jesus, he's got to be exhausted by now. But he's very compassionate and healing a lot of people. Anyway, so while they're all crowding into the house to see Jesus, Jesus is inside there, and he hears some weird noise on the roof of the house. It was had a flat roof on it. And the people are listening, and they hear a lot of scratching and banging, and what on earth is going on? Well, it turns out that there was a man who had a very crippling disease that was getting worse all the time. It was getting so he couldn't move his limbs at all. And he had 4 friends who had brought him into town to Jesus' house, but they couldn't get in the house. Nobody would make room for them, especially when it was like a canvas that they were 4 men, each one had a corner, carrying this poor man in that couldn't move. And what they did is they went up on the roof of the house and got the man pulled up onto the roof of the house, and then they started digging a hole in the roof. And they finally worked their way through, scratching through all this stuff, and it started to fall down onto the people and onto Jesus. And so eventually they got everybody's looking what's coming down, and eventually they lowered this man down in the canvas, and they put ropes on it in each corner, and they put him down right in front of Jesus. And Jesus looked at the man, and the man asked to be healed. And Jesus, he said something surprising. Now, I gotta say, in this house, there was also those Pharisees. They were in there too, and the scribes. They were mixed in with the Jewish people there, because they were Jews. Anyway, Jesus looked at the man. They had they put him on a table on his mat there. And he said, "Son, your sins are forgiven." And everybody was astonished. They didn't hear Jesus say that before. And the Pharisees, right away they speak up. "Who do you think you are? Only God can forgive sins." And Jesus said to them, he said, "Is it easier for you to think that I can say, your sins are forgiven, or to say, get up, you're healed?" And they were so disgusted with Jesus, thinking he was God. So when Jesus said, your sins are forgiven, they were just so annoyed. And then Jesus said to the man, after your sins are forgiven, he said, okay, now get up and take up your mat. And the man got up. He was able to move his arms and his legs again. He got up, jumped off the table, rolled up his mat, put it over his shoulders, and walked out like any other man would do that's carrying his bedroll with him. And he was so grateful to Jesus that he went and also told everybody else what Jesus had done for him. And these Pharisees are just bugging Jesus something fierce. But they thought, you're not God, you know. How can you say your sins are forgiven? And Jesus says, well, I got something to show you. And so he said, get up and walk, and the man was healed. What does it take for people to believe in Jesus? What does it take? It takes an open heart is what it takes. Okay, I'll let it go at that right now. But this is pretty great stuff. Bye-bye.